Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 RTG career mode. We're back today with another huge episode as we get closer to the end of the season. We've got the Champions League last 16 where we've been drawn against the Germans Bayer Leverkusen. Really tough tie that. We'll also have the League Cup final at Wembley as we take on Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, as well as more big games in the Premier League and the quarterfinals of the FA Cup as we're still in the hunt for the quadruple. So loads of big games to come today, as I say. Jumping into our first of those is Bayer Leverkusen, first leg being at home at the Britannia as we look to take a positive result back to Germany. Come on the Potters. Yep, up and underway here at the Britannia, and I actually forgot when the draw was made that of course we faced Leverkusen in the league phase away from home at the Bayer Arena in what was a pretty thrilling game that finished 2 apiece as Oskarsson gets half a yard and fires off target. But it was pretty open, especially in the first half of that game. And in the 3-4-3 formation that Leverkusen line up in, I'm expecting more of the same in this two-legged affair. Yeah, I do feel when we win the ball back on those turnovers, there is going to be space to get at that Leverkusen team quickly, as there's only really going to be 3 defenders back as they play so high up the pitch with all the attackers that they've got. But it will probably mean chances on the other end. And thankfully there, we are going to be saved by the flag. Well, less than 1 boot's length keeps us at 0-0. But here come Leverkusen again. And there's Osimhen, who scored 2 at the Bayer Arena in the league phase. This is nicely worked. Morton will look to strike one from the edge. And our game plan today has to be to get the ball forward quickly because there's going to be space as Haraldsson round the corner for Bay, lifts it for Oskarsson. Did he time it? Yes, he did. And Oskarsson in behind drills in the opening goal. And I'm not celebrating too early because there is a long way left to go in this tie. And I'm sure there will be more goals scored as well. But the Iceman gives us the lead in the last 16. Well, we did pretty well defensively in that first half and kept Leverkusen relatively quiet, but we know they've got that quality, and with us challenging on 4 fronts it is difficult to sort of prioritise the games. And obviously we've got a good squad here with Stoke. That's beautifully worked, and Lukeba does so well. We've got a great squad here with Stoke, but you've got to prioritise which games we want our starters to be out there and which games we want to rotate in. And it's difficult to do so when you've got so many big games in every competition. But here goes the skip. Nicely worked into Oskarsson! And this is exactly what I mean about that 3 at the back formation. If you get in down the sides of the centre-backs, you pull them out wide and it creates space centrally. Oskarsson left all alone and he's never going to miss that. And my motto last episode was, if you can't defend, just keep scoring. And we've defended pretty well today, but we've also got a 2-goal lead. Harley goes for it. Oh, it's off the woodwork. I don't believe it. Oh, I thought Restes had it, and he will now, as that is going to do it. And it just dipped onto the top of the crossbar. Well, it's the closest we've come with a halfway attempt for a long, long time. And that really would have probably killed off the tie. But I'll take a 2-goal advantage heading to Germany for the second leg. I'd have bitten your hand off before the home leg to be leading by 2. And that's exactly what will happen as we head to Germany. And what a great result in the first leg here, and the perfect way to kick off this busy episode. And we'll jump straight into our next game. It's sandwiched in between the 2 Champions League last 16 ties. So travelling to Ellen Road to take on Leeds United, a side that always caused me issues in this save, and Ademola Lookman in particular is a bit of an arch nemesis. So we've done a great job in this first leg, but we've got to keep focused on the weekend as we look to keep pace with Chelsea at the top. Come on the Potters. Well, it was a great result in midweek, but we've got to follow that up with an equally as good result here at Ellen Road as Millian turns on the afterburners. He's away from Jose Guy. There's the skipper Bay. What a season for the captain. And it's taken us just 14 minutes to find the breakthrough here. Fighting on all four fronts, but we don't look like stumbling. Could we honestly be on for a quadruple this season? Well, I've said it on the record before in previous episodes. I don't think we will win the quad this season. As Aronson, that's a good stop by Bilal, and Rigby will prevent the corner, but gives it straight back to Leeds. And here's Lazaro. Ampadu, lovely reverse ball, and Bilal's there again on the closeout. Corner, Ricardo Orsolini across to take it. Aronson's with him, but Sainz has pinched it and he's away. Great chance for two this. Bay through the middle, he's onside, he was in his own half, and the skipper races away. 4-2, never going to miss that, drills in the second. And that, hopefully, just 35 minutes in, will be the points in the bag. Well, there is the whistle, and in the end, the 2 goals are enough for Stoke City. Similar game to the one in midweek at home against Leverkusen, where we got the 2 goals. And again, we were solid defensively. We're really starting to lock in and close teams out just when it matters most at the climax of the season. Another clean sheet here. I believe that is now 3 or potentially 4 in a row in the Premier League as we maintain our winning run in the league to keep the pace with Chelsea at the top. But we will jump into that second leg against Bayer Leverkusen, heading to Germany and expecting a tricky tie against Xabi Alonso's side. Of course, they've got to go for it now, trailing by 2, and a clean sheet will see us through. And I think if we get the first goal in Germany, then we will be heading through to the quarterfinals. Big European night for Stoke City. Let's see what we're made of. Come on, the Potters. Here we go then, in the rain in Germany, which I think is going to play its part here tonight, as Leverkusen looking for an early chance and flashing that one just wide of the post. But yeah, if Leverkusen get the first goal, then it is game back on, and this tie is by no means over. But if we are to get it, and I do think there are chances for us on the break, if we get that goal, it might just be game. As I was trying to peg that back, it didn't quite work out how I planned. Diomande does well, and Haraldsson can strike them. And this game has been pretty open in the opening 8 minutes, and I'm sure there are going to be goals tonight. A little bit sloppy on the ball in these opening moments as Nico Williams bursting in behind. Ball pulled back, and Leverkusen have their goal. And it's taken just 21 minutes for them to get back in this tie. I said the first goal was a big one. We've been poor out of possession and in possession as well. And the ball's pegged back. He's got all the time in the world, and he was never going to miss from there. Tie on. Yeah, I mean, I'm not panicking just yet because we've still got that goal advantage, and we're such a threat on the break. Oh, Bay denied by Restes. I saw him coming off his line and went for the dink. But with this 3-back formation, there is chances for us tonight. And I think if we score once, it might be enough to send us through. Elanga. Ball forward to Bay. Look at the space. Look at the space. Skipper brought down. That could be a red, you know. That is a naughty tackle. What colour's the card? It is red. And rightfully so as well. The regen or new gen Valentin Valverde sent off. And for me, I'm not complaining once about the refs. I think that's the right decision. Right down the back of the Achilles as Bay is racing away. And now we got the free kick in a dangerous position here. Oscarson's over it. And the Iceman, maybe not enough power, looking to go up and over. And it's not far away. But that has lifted some of the pressure for those travelling Stoke City fans in the Bayer Arena. Again, I think if we score tonight, that'll be enough to send us through. Well, into the second half, and nothing to report since the red card and the resulting free kick. But Leverkusen's back 3 has now become a back 2, and you've got to think that there will be space if we can exploit it. With our forward players, you've got to think that we can kill this contest off, but just got to be wary going the other way of Leverkusen. But there must be chances on the break, as here goes Haraldsson, and he has got Oscarsson in the middle. He's onside. Oscarsson to Bay, back to the Iceman, cheeky little back heel, and that is going to do it. His 3rd of the tie, not a hat-trick, But his third goal over the 2 legs, and surely now that is enough to see us through. Yeah, this is sort of where I wish the AI clubs and the AI managers had a little bit more common sense, because they've had the red card to one of their back 3 and they've just left it. They haven't brought on another defender. I know they're chasing the tie, but you've got to have some balance. And there's no way a manager would just leave it as a 2 at the back and just let the other team run through them, because that's basically what has happened here. And we've got that third goal to kill the tie off as Bay looks to get away. And that should be 4, and he's not going to miss that. But it's exactly what I mean, man. I know we've got the man advantage. We should be making a pretty easy job of this, but it just doesn't make much sense that they didn't bring on another defender or move one of the midfielders back, or, I don't know, take off one of the attackers they've got. It breaks away from the immersion a little bit, but regardless, we will be heading through to the quarterfinals. The red card did obviously affect the game pretty heavily, but we deserved it over the 2 legs. We have been the better side. And despite the early scare with Leverkusen getting a goal back, we will be heading through to the quarterfinals. Well, as we get back to the menus, it's another huge game up next as we travel to Wembley for the League Cup final. But before we jump into that, let's take a look if the draw for the quarterfinals has been made, where Stoke City will be taking on, it's not been made, but it should be in the calendar. So let's do it the old school way. Calendar will be taking on, it's an all English affair, and that just makes our race for the title even more exciting. Chelsea, my boys, in the Champions League quarterfinals. That is going to be really tough. We've also still got to face them in the league as well. And oh my goodness, that is going to be a feisty affair. But we'll wait until the next episode for that one. So yeah, we'll jump into our next game. It is the League Cup final as we take on Pep Guardiola's Manchester City at Wembley. They've been the dominant side in England, and especially in this competition since Pep Guardiola moved to England, and they're having a pretty poor campaign domestically, currently sitting all the way down in 12th in the Premier League with more losses than they have wins this season. It's been a really dreadful season, but they'll be hoping to turn to this final for a little bit of respite and some silverware this campaign. From a Stoke City point of view, we're looking for our first domestic trophy of the save after winning the Conference League last year, and of course we're still eyeing up the chances of a quadruple as well. So a huge game at Wembley. Come on, the Potters. City looking to exploit the space left by Jordan Boz. Gravenberch just filling in whilst he gets back into position, but Livramento does well. Tino through the gap for Oscar Bob. Watch that ball into Erling Haaland. Bilal does well on the closeout. Well, Aarons has just gone into the book, and I'm sure Ndala out on this left-hand side will be licking his lips at that, as we're going to have to protect the Englishman. Ball played into Erling Haaland. Danger here. Strike does come in on Bilal's goal, but it's a pretty comfortable save for the Bosnian. He looked a little bit nervy there. Big game for him. Still just a youngster, of course, as Harrelson releases Oskarsson. Did he time it? No, he's just offside. And it is very, very fine margins here. Well, half of very few chances here at Wembley. And so often these cup finals are tight and cagey, as you'd expect them to be. Nobody wants to lose a cup final at Wembley, but it might take a mistake or something special to win this, as Oskarsson round the corner to Harrelson. The Ice Boys linking up. Dink to the back post for Anthony Elanga, and he heads wide. Probably the biggest chance we've seen here at Wembley. Harrelson back to Bay, and Boz is on the move. And Jordan Boz, Livramento does well. There's Oskarsson. Lovely ball control. And Boz, and I just cannot find a way through this City defence. But there is Bay. Opens up for Bay. Oh, it's just wide. As now City look to win it. And Arias off the bench has got the pace. And there's Erling Haaland. Haaland to win it. Big save. Oh, and we're going to lose it in that manner. Oh, I don't believe it. What a crazy end to the game. It could have gone either way. but it's going the way of Pep Guardiola's side. Bilal made the save on the closeout on Haaland, and it just falls back to Man City. Vitinha on the edge, puts it on a plate. It's great awareness from Vitinha. Puts it on a plate for Bob, who can't miss, and Manchester City have won it. Oh man, what a final, and what a way to win it for Manchester City. Having a poor domestic campaign, I believe they're still in the FA Cup as well, so they'll be eyeing that trophy as well. Oh man, that is really, really gut-wrenching. It was so tight and cagey, such a difficult final to call. But I'd say in that second half, we had the better of it, and we had Manchester City penned for a lot of that second half period. They couldn't get the ball up to their forward players. And then on the counter, on the break, Manchester City win it. And it's going to be the skipper Rodri, the Ballon d'Or winner, to lift the trophy for Manchester City, your Carabao Cup champions. Can't lie, guys, that is really, really difficult to take. I mean, it's Man City at the end of the day, but with them having such a poor season, down in 12th, I think it is, in the Premier League, and with us absolutely flying with the form we've been in, I don't know, maybe on paper you would have had us as favourites, but football isn't played on paper, it's played on the pitch, and Man City have the players and have the know-how to get over the line, and that is exactly what happened here. Fair play to Guardiola's side. They will not go the season trophyless, and they of course still have the FA Cup to keep their eye on as well. And speaking of the FA Cup, that is where our attention turns as we travel to the G-Tech for the quarter-finals. But we've got I think it's a 2-week break until that fixture, so I'll give the lads a couple of days off, time to recover, time to recuperate, and then we've got to refocus. There are still 3 competitions up for grabs this season, and the FA Cup is certainly one that I've got my eyes on. Got a great chance to make it into the Final Four, as I would definitely have us as favourites heading to the G-Tech for the quarter-final. So, as I say, 1 trophy's gone, but we've just got to refocus, recalibrate, and keep our attention on those that are still up for grabs. So, Brentford away at the G-Tech. Come on, the Potters. Yep, I keep saying it, but we just got to go again, and the conditions aren't great for it here. Could this be the start of our season unravelling? Those that have been around the channel for a while will know that I hate playing in the rain in FC 25, and I've been bigging ourselves up in this FA Cup quarter-final, but it's a fantastic team that Brentford have got, and they will certainly be fancying their chances as well, especially after the agony of the cup final defeat. And Bilal already called into action here. We've got Spurs to come in, I think, 3 days' time in the Premier League, as Oscarson lets fly, and it's straight at the goalkeeper. End-to-end stuff here already. Looking to slow the pace of the game down, I think. Nice skill. Clements finds Oscarson. Oscarson lets fly, and this time gets a little bit more behind it and does force a more serious save out of the keeper. As I say, Tottenham to come in just a few days' time in a huge clash up at the top of the Premier League. So I have chosen my lineup with that in mind, as Gravenberch finds Lewis Skelly, and there's the skipper Bay, and it opens up for him, and he does bend in the opening goal. I thought he'd got too much on it and sent it wide of the post, but it kisses the post on its way through and finds its way into the back of the net. Stoke lead, and that is the perfect response. But that up looks to go early up to Oscarson. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, talk about season enders. Not just for Oscarson, but for Stoke City as well, as he slowly got back to his feet. But I have a feeling that might be more than a bruise, as Bay now looks to find him and couldn't do so. But that is a worry for Stoke City fans. Come on, someone close him down. Someone close him down. And Burmo, ball reversed. What a brilliant goal. Right on the stroke of half-time. the Brazilian Savinho levels up for Brentford. Well, into the second half here, 10 played, and taking Oscarson off at the break. I don't want to take any chances of making that injury worse as Fink rolls through. Lewis Skelly! And it's a crisp finish into the back of the net. And I'm probably going to have to think about taking Gravenberch and Bay off soon as well, with that big clash against Spurs to come in a few days' time. And we were level, but now with us going a goal up, I think I will make those changes with that big clash coming on the weekend. Think forward to Sainz. And there's Million. Can't find a gap, so I'll try not to force it. It will come for Million, who lifts it for Clemens Fink for 3. And that is going to do it. Well, there is the whistle. It's all over here at the G-Tech. And in the end, we just had a little bit too much quality on the day for Brentford. They gave us a good fight. And when they got that equalising goal, I was a little bit worried that after that cup final defeat, we might be feeling a little bit fragile. But Miles Lewis Skelly restored the lead before Clemens Fink secured it with a late third. So our first time reaching the FA Cup semi-finals, and I think it is mostly the big boys left in the competition. Well, as we get back to the menus, I forgot about the Oscarson injury as well. How bad was that? I'm hoping it's only going to be a bruise, and no, it's a 4-week hyperextended knee. So he should be back right at the end of the season for the final few games. But anyway, of course, we've got to find out who it will be in the FA Cup semi-final, where Stoke City will be taking on Manchester United. As we did in the League Cup semi-final, of course, that was a two-legged affair. But we'll be taking on the Red Devils once again in a domestic cup semi-final as Everton take on Liverpool in a Merseyside derby. That means Everton must have knocked out, Everton knocked out Arsenal and Liverpool did knock out Manchester City. So, okay, that is going to be interesting. I'm not actually sure when that game falls. I think it'll be towards the end of April, so it should be in the next episode. But to close out today, we've got two huge games, both against the North London sides. First, Tottenham at home at the Britannia, and then we travel to Arsenal to take on the Gunners. Currently sat in 4th and 5th, respectively, in the Premier League. And I think Arsenal 10 points behind, probably too late for them to make a title push. But as for Spurs, only 5 behind. If they win here, then it will massively throw the title race wide open. Of course, no Oscarson, who loves scoring against Tottenham. He's got hat-tricks in his last 2 games against them. But we're going to be without him today. So a big test. Come on the Potters. Yep, more rain as we play Tottenham here at the Britannia, and I'm expecting a mad game, as we always seem to get when we face Ange Postecoglou's side. Normally Oscarson has his say as well, but you will have seen I've gone for one of the kids, Baumgartner, up top. I could have kind of messed around with the lineup and put somebody else up top, a false 9, maybe Haraldson, maybe Bay, but I've gone with one of the kids. As Elanga, what's he doing? Took his time and should have just finished the move off. I've gone for the kid Baumgartner, and I'm hoping my decision pays off. Nice hold-up play. And now Haraldson releases Boz. I think he's onside. Boz in behind. Can he finish? Yes, he can. Early goal here at the Britannia, and it comes from an unlikely source. No Oscarson, no problem, as the left-back Jordan Boz scores his first goal in about 2.5 years. Wonderful storming run down the left. Oh, Duranville. He's got such quick feet. Burkhart reverses it. They got a man over. Oh, what a save, Bilal. As probably not the man they would have wanted it to fall to, Mohamed Simakom. Up from right back, and now we're looking to exploit the space that he's left. Haraldson, what a pass. And Bay. And still Bay. And still Bay. And it's 2. And there's just always goals when Stoke play Tottenham Hotspur. Could have been one apiece down the other end, but instead we go on the break, exploit the space that the Frenchman left on his run forward, and Bay has the finish to double the advantage. Well, there's the whistle, and it's another clean sheet for Stoke City. I tell you what, we have been so good defensively recently, barring a few little blips, but I don't think we've conceded more than one in a game for probably about a month and a half now. It's been really, really good to see. And no Oskarsson, no problem today, as goals from Bay and Jordan Boz as well, an unlikely goal scorer in the first half, give us the win over Tottenham. That sees us move 8 points clear of Postecoglou's side. Great win for Stoke City, but now can we follow it up away from the Emirates in another really tough test, as this time we travel to North London. Come on, the Potters. Right then, here we go. Final game of the episode. It's Kaufman who gets the nod up top this time. And there could be a chance to get in behind here, straight from kickoff. Boz, who scored in that previous game, picks out the skipper, who's been in great goal-scoring form, but just couldn't pick out the corner on this occasion. Still waiting for that clinical chance. There's Kaufman in behind. There's the clinical finish we've been waiting for. And again, no Oskarsson, no problem for Stoke City. Sainz gets the assist as he rolls through the youngster. Given the nod today, going to share the game time out between he and Baumgartner. But it is Kaufman with his second goal of the season who bends us into the lead here at the Emirates. Duarte spins away. Singo does well, but we can't get the ball back. Karim Adeyemi. Wonderful strike, and there's going to be no clean sheet today, as that's the AI on Ultimate, man. You get half a second, if that, to get your passes away, and they catch me cold with my players out of position. It's a great strike by Adeyemi, and Arsenal level up here at the Emirates. Oh, ball slipped into Saka. Arsenal looking more likely now. Christensen just about gets there. Oh, terrible giveaway by Singo. Adeyemi and Jonathan David. Jonathan David completes the turnaround for Arsenal. Well, that's going to do it at the Emirates, and not the way I wanted to close out the episode and head into that Champions League quarter-finals. We were leading by a goal, but Karim Adeyemi's equaliser completely changed the course of that second half, and it's our first defeat in the Premier League for some time, as Arsenal, hunting down European football, get the win here and massively dent our Premier League title hopes. There's still, I think, 9 games left to play in the Premier League, or it might be 8 after this one. But if Chelsea have picked up a point or more, they will be returning to the summit. We, of course, still have to play them in the Premier League, which will also come in the next episode alongside that Champions League quarter-final. But that will do it for today, guys. Some mixed emotions in today's episode, as we did really well to make it through Leverkusen in the last 16 of the Champions League. But that heartbreaking defeat at Wembley against Manchester City has left a sour taste. Still fighting on 3 fronts though, with the Champions League, Premier League and FA Cup still to play for, as we look to close out the season over the next couple of episodes. I'll catch you for the next one very soon. Take care, guys, and peace.